today by Molly Hanlon-Mirabito, candidate for Luzerne County Judge. Hi.
Hi, Tiffany. How are you?
I'm happy to have you. How are you?
I'm well, thanks, and thanks for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure, really. It's a pleasure and an honor. I wanted to first start out by just saying that you and I have met once before. We met in a buffet line at Valley Country Club at a women's networking mixer. It was my first time through the buffet line, for the record, and you were behind me and just were so pleasant. We struck up a conversation, and it was a really enjoyable time. So just liked you from right off the bat.
Thank you, Tiffany, and it was very nice to meet you, and it's nice to talk to you again.
Yeah, well, we're here because we really want to learn more about you and have the audience learn more about your candidacy. You're running for Luzerne County Judge, so if we could start, maybe you could tell the audience a bit about yourself.
Okay, I'm one of 5 kids, born to Tom and Narita Hanlon, and I was raised in 40 Fort. I've lived in Luzerne County my whole life, was educated in Luzerne County from my first day at Holy Name Grade School through Bishop O'Reilly, King's College, and then I went to Notre Dame, came back in 1987 upon graduation, and have been practicing here ever since.
Wonderful. And is there a particular type of law that you've really focused in during your legal practices?
Well, my private practice has been primarily domestic in nature. Well, I've done civil litigation, equity cases, those types of things. It's primarily been domestic: divorce, custody, support, adoptions. And I've also been an assistant district attorney throughout my career. I've worked under 5 DAs.
5?
Yeah.
Oh my.
My first one was now judge, then Coriel Stevens, district attorney, gave me my first opportunity in, I believe, late 1989, early 1990, and have worked for every DA ever since.
Well, in having over 20 years experience and having worked under 5 DAs and all of the other domestic legal experience you've had, I know having a breadth and a scope of understanding of the law is, of course, critical to be a judge. Have you practiced in some form or another every area of the law that would come across your desk, if judge?
To a greater or lesser extent, yes. I can't think of anything that I have not done. I've been involved in civil jury matters, as I said, equity matters, pretrial issues, adoptions. I can't think of any area that I have not had some experience with.
Okay. What was the motivation to run for judge? Was there a moment? Was there an event? Was it the scandal at the courthouse? What made you decide to run this time?
This time, Tiffany, I think it was a sincere desire to help this county move forward. And I think that I can help with that. I think that, as you said, the depth and breadth of experience, as well as being somebody who is not beholden to anyone, will help the county move forward.
Now, there are 7 candidates running for 6 slots.
Yes.
Which is... That's a tough one. That's definitely a tough one. What do you think, without discussing your opponents, but what do you think distinguishes you from everyone else as a candidate?
Well, again, I think that, without repeating that, the experience through my years at the DA's office, I have tried homicide cases. I have tried capital cases. I've been involved just recently in the Commonwealth versus Riccardi case. We tried pre-trial. We addressed an issue that was the first time it was addressed in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, established a record that is being used by experts throughout the country now, defining the issue of an Atkins issue, which is a pre-trial death penalty case issue. I also think that the fact that I'm not taking contributions from lawyers would distinguish my candidacy from some of the others, that the voting population knows that if somebody comes into my courtroom, everybody is treated exactly the same. I think things like that would distinguish me from some of the other folks running.
And how is your campaign being funded?
We're doing it ourselves. We had, by we I mean my husband and I. My husband is Mike Mirabito, which, if you pick that up, makes us Mike and Molly. That in the primary, we had one breakfast. I think it was $20 or $25. But other than that, we have done no fundraising. We have not done any direct solicitations. That we just took out a home equity loan to finance the rest of our campaign, because we talked about it and we truly believe that if it's a job that we want for me, we shouldn't ask others to fund that. And especially after this flooding, it's almost unseemly to ask other people to finance your dream.
That makes you quite unique in terms of how you're doing it, because usually judicial races, people raise a lot of money.
Well, they are expensive, but the success that we had in the primary, after spending, I believe it was between $20,000 and $25,000, which I know is not much for a campaign, but in our lives, that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And people talk about a grassroots campaign. Ours really and truly is a grassroots campaign. We do not have one paid political consultant, not one paid worker. My husband's my media advisor. My college roommate is my campaign coordinator. And there's a lot that you can do on your own. Our radio ads were done with free programs at our dining room table. And so we're getting our message out that way.